Hello. Sorry, everybody. Trying to get this camera to work with me today. Give me a moment. Oh, that reset the camera. Oops. Okay, so hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is AnimeNext 2023. I'm hosting the Intro to Anime Dolls panel here in the Hyatt Regency Hotel. This is going to be panel room E or panel room 1. I think it's both. So definitely come and check it out. It's going to start at 11:15. We're going to start in a few minutes. Normally, I don't stream my panels, but this is going to be probably the last time I host this panel, so it doesn't matter. So everybody can see it around the world. Oh, I'm getting messages already. So yeah, before I start the panel, because the camera is going to be in a different area, and I won't be able to read chat. So if you guys are saying anything, I won't be able to read it because I'm going to be up on stage. But I'll give you a quick tour. Let me see if I can switch the camera around. And there we go. Okay. So we look here. We have our little table. This is where I'll be presenting. Little ladies are up here today. Today we brought Courage. We brought Chitose, and Istol is here to have fun. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The audio's working? Good morning, Marie Velez. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I think it's working. You guys can hear me, right? It's not. Yeah, okay. Welcome to the stream. Okay, I'm set up. I'm ready to go. And then we have the projector. Okay, so I'm going to put you guys on a tripod right over here. And you guys should be able to see everything. I'm just going to have to move the camera around so that you guys can do so. You can hear us? Okay, great. Thank you, Marie. You can hear me. All right, so I'm on stage right now. The panel doesn't start until 5 minutes. So roughly I got 5 minutes. So I can do questions if anybody has any questions before we actually start the live stream. But yeah, we have some people here already. Hopefully more will come in when we get closer to 11:15. It was quite the chore. The girls look fabulous. Thank you. They do. They do. They had a good breakfast this morning. But traveling here was a bit of a ruckus for the ladies because they got bounced around in the bag a lot. I didn't bring my suitcase like I normally do today because I'm going to do a lot of walking around. And I didn't feel like dragging the suitcase along with me. But their hair was all messed up. Like I'm talking like all over the place. So I had to fix their hair so that they didn't look all sorts of disheveled. Brought my little comb here. My expensive comb that nobody should ever buy because it costs way too much money for what it does, but I made the mistake of buying it, so now I have it. We have more people coming in, so we will start shortly. We got like 5 more minutes to go. Welcome, hello everybody, welcome. So yeah, Courage, if you want, do you guys want to see what it looks like behind you? How many people get an opportunity, I guess, to see? Let me see, hold on. So, there we go. So we're on stage. Apparently we have the audio mixer thingamajig. Panel's ready to go. You guys can see me. Hello, reflection off the screen. And then the lovely ladies here from behind. Yes, Yastola has her tail. So there's that. And then I got all my supplies here that I need in case something goes wrong. Charger, comb, all my equipment for the live stream. Courage brought her bag today. She usually doesn't, but today felt like a special day to wear the bag. And then like all my stuff down here is just all like piled in behind the desk where, normally attendees can't see. But it's just kind of like there. But yeah, that's everything. So we got 4 minutes to start. I probably will put you guys on the tripod soon. But just do take notice. Once I put you guys on the tripod, I won't be able to read the chat. So if you have any questions, there's no way that I could see it. I don't have like some kind of mobile setup for you guys to see, for me to see what's going on in chat. So, and I don't have a second cell phone, so I can't I can't really read chat as it's going on. But once I put you guys on the tripod, we will get started. We have about 3 minutes to go. Marie, welcome to the stream again. Thank you for coming again. I saw you yesterday during yesterday's live stream, and I'm so happy that you came back for for a second event with me. I have my microphone here, so it doesn't matter if I put the camera really far away on a tripod. You guys should still hear me, no matter how far I'm away. Supposedly, the microphone can pick up to about 400 yards away, so I can get pretty far, and you guys should be able to still hear me clearly. But let me checking on the time. Got roughly about 3 minutes to go. About 3 minutes to go. Let me just check the settings real quick, make sure everything is good before I actually let you guys go and put you on the tripod. Audio levels are good. You know, this is the thing that you guys don't see when I live stream on Fridays, is me like double checking and triple checking and making sure that the audio and the video is working properly for Beyond the Doll. But since I'm doing this live, I can't do that without you. I can't hide that and do it without you guys seeing me. So I'm super paranoid about making sure that everything works. Because God forbid, that's like one of the worst fears as a streamer, is that you be sitting there streaming for like hours and like the audio does not work. I mean, that's like a complete nightmare. Or like the video is getting choppy. Luckily enough, in this hotel, we have very good service. So the stream should be uninterrupted. I'm driving. No, don't, Murray, don't drive and watch the stream at the same time. Park, woman. I don't want you getting into an accident. Seriously, it's not that serious. Like, watch it on the VODs later. Okay, I got 1 minute to go, people. All right, I'm gonna put you guys down. I'm gonna put you guys down here. Hopefully you can see everything. All right, so we're gonna set this up. Wrong way. I forgot everything is airplane control stick, so right is left, left is right. Can you guys, I think, should I go up a little? I think that's fine. You guys can see it, right? Hopefully. I gotta go. All right. So even though I'm far away, you guys should still hear me. Everything should be fine. My shoe came undone. Hold on. Oh, okay. All right. We are ready. Can you guys hear me? Yes. I think even without the microphone, you probably could hear me anyways, but I guess just in case. All right, so we're going to get started with today. And welcome everybody to AnimeNext 2023. You are in the Intro to Anime Dolls panel. It doesn't say intro on the screen, but it is an introduction into the hobby of what I like to call anime dolls. I will be your host today. My name is Shizu-san. I go by that handle on all of my stuff. So I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I do have a Snapchat, but I never use it. It's just kind of there, so I can like save the name, but it is there. So normally I do a lot of unboxing videos, a lot of travel videos. Like today, we are live streaming on the camera there so that people that are unable to make it to this event, they can kind of watch and follow along. So most of the time, every Friday, I will have a video coming out. Wow, someone's screaming. I will have a video of the news every Friday, and then it's not every Friday, it's every other Friday they switch. So one Friday will be the news, catch you up on everything that's going on in the doll hobby world. And then the opposite Friday will be a live stream event where we talk about like different topics. Sometimes I will have guests come on the show to introduce themselves and share what they love about the hobby and what they do with the hobby. Sometimes we talk about controversial topics that are going on in the community as well that some people don't want to tackle, but I don't care because I think it's something that everybody should know about that's going on, and it shouldn't be something that's hidden. But yeah, that's me. All my information's up there, so if you want to take a picture now before I move it on to the next screen. And for those of you that are watching on the live stream, welcome. All right. This is today's outline. This is basically what we're going to cover. We're going to cover what is an anime doll. We're going to cover different brands. Now, there are so many brands in this hobby. So the only ones I'm going to cover in today's video is just one of the more popular or more mainstream ones. But there are a lot of different brands out there. So if you have any questions about other brands, we can go over that in the Q&A section if we have time to. We'll also talk about where to buy these lovely ladies, the prices. Now the prices that are listed in today's panel that you will see, they do fluctuate. And the reason why the prices fluctuate is because the conversion rate between the yen and the US dollar. So sometimes it could be higher, sometimes it could be lower, but it's a rough estimate of how much they will cost when we get up to that section. And then lastly, we'll talk about communities and some social medias in regards to dolls. And if we have time, a Q&A. If we have a lot more time, I do have videos to show. If you guys are interested, I'll play those videos at the end, if we have time. So let's get started. First up, what is an anime doll, right? Technically, it's kind of like a term that I kind of made up. It's not a term that the industry actually uses. Normally what they're called are ball-jointed dolls. The reason why I call them anime dolls is because a lot of them are in the style of an anime character or resemble an actual anime character. So as you can see up here on the table with me, these two lovely ladies here are they're, what they call them? They're original dolls. So these are not resembling any kind of like anime character or video game character. These are originals. Then this one is actually Y'shtola from Final Fantasy XIV. So you could see the difference. You have other ones that are actually resemble characters that a lot of people may know or not, just like we have Sailor Moon also over there. We also have another example of Ramen Rem from ReZero, just so you guys can see. Now, originally, these are known as BJDs, or ball-jointed dolls. They originated as resin, but they have evolved to different things like plastic or vinyl. But mostly, individuals in the community know them as BJDs because it did start with the resin aspect of the hobby. And then it eventually evolved, well, not really evolved, but it branched out to different sections. So you kind of have your resin dolls, which are about the same size. They can be smaller or even bigger, but they're mostly a little bit heavier. They're put together with rubber bands on the inside to keep them all together. Whereas the other branches that have kind of come out, whether it's plastic or vinyl, like these lovely ladies, they actually have an internal frame skeleton inside. So you don't have to worry about rubber bands or anything like that. They're posable, they're movable because of that skeleton on the inside, but they still feature the ball joints. So you still have ball joints in the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the knees, the thigh, the pelvis, like where it connects, and the ankles. So you'll have ball joints there, as well as another one in the head so that they can move their heads in different directions. Now, normally, is it up there on the screen? Oh, it's not. Okay. So normally, what you're going to see with these dolls is from a 1/12 to even as high as a 1/2 scale doll. So picture 1/12, that's kind of like less than 10 inches. You have some that are, one of the guests here have a little one there. You can have them as small as 5 inches tall. They can go as high as 1/2 scale, which 1/2 scale is about roughly 3 feet tall, roughly. Depending on what brand that you buy from, they could be a little bit bigger than that or a little bit smaller. I think Parabox now has one that's a 1/2 scale, which is about 3.5 feet tall. So different companies, different brands will have different scales, but they usually can range for something as low as 5 inches to something as high as about 3.5 feet tall. Now let's talk about different brand names that you can see in these companies. Now again, there are many brands. I'm just going to talk about some of the more famous or more popular ones spreading around within the community. First up, we have Pull-Ups and Blythes. So some of you may actually know some of these names, but a Blythe was actually something that was released by Kenner back in I think it's the 70s. I could be wrong on that. Chat on the live stream, correct me if I'm wrong, even though I can't see what you guys are saying. But Pull-Ups and Blythes, I know people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but they're kind of the same. So they come in a 1/6 scale. They're made out of plastic, and they look like this. So like these little dolls, they got these gigantic heads, and they have these little tiny bodies. Now the gimmick with these dolls is that not only are they got that Chobits kind of, not Chobits, that what's the word, the little tiny kind of kid look, like the chibi, that's the word I was looking for. They got like that little chibi look with like the big head, the small body. But the other gimmick that they kind of come with is that the eyes move. So depending on which one you have, there's like a different method. I'm not an expert in pull-up and glides, but I think one has like a switch in the back of the head, and then one of the companies have like a pull string in the back of the head. And some of them can switch the eyes colors from one color to another color, and then other ones can move the eyes when you move the switch, so it can go left, right, up, or down kind of thing. And I have like a little example here of one of them over there where they can kind of like move the eyes around, things like that. But they're pretty popular, and one of the biggest things is that you can customize them. So a lot of these dolls are highly customizable, where you can change the eye colors, you can change the wigs, and you can change the clothing. So even if you were to buy a doll like this or any of the dolls here, they don't have to stay in the clothing that they're in. You could change it to anything that you want, as long as it's either A, available to purchase from a manufacturer or a third-party seller, or you can make them your own. I know a lot of people in the doll community that make their own clothing, they make their own accessories and things of that nature. Let's see, pull-up is made in Korea. I think Blythe was originally by Kenner in the US and may have been moved on to like Korean-based, but again, I'm not fully well-versed in pull-ups and glides, but they do kind of have a unique following all around the world. There actually is a con I was just made aware about in Chicago. I think it's called Puddle, and it's a convention all about these types of dolls for the pull-ups and glides. But they have branched out, and there are other dolls that you can see at that convention as well. I hear Smart Doll is getting pretty popular over at Puddle as well. Now, next we have some examples. So some examples of some pull-ups and glides that are anime collaborated or anime themed, because this is an anime convention. Sailor Moon. So Sailor Moon is one of them that you can get available. The inner Senshi are there. I am not sure if they made the outer Senshi. They may have. I'm not entirely sure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think I've seen a Sailor Moon around.
You have seen them? Okay, so yeah, they might be floating around, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not entirely sure. You also have Rose Maiden and Black Butler are other ones that you can get. Bless you. Those are other different anime collaborations that you can get with pull-ups and glides. So mostly pull-ups though. You don't see too many anime collaborations with the glides. So this is mostly pull-up stuff that you're gonna see. But there's other stuff other than that. Other examples, Rurouni Kenshin is one of them. You have some DC Comics characters is another. And of course, who can forget Neon Genesis? Definitely has doll representation in almost every brand. You'll pretty much see some version of Neon Genesis collaborations in a lot of the brands, if not all of the brands. Now the next one that I want to talk about for today is A-Zone. A-Zone International is one of those companies that have done many different types of dolls. It's one of the doll companies that I just started learning about and branching out to, because there's just so much information to take in with the A-Zones. So let's cover a couple of the different lines. So the first one is the Pure Nemo line. Now the Pure Nemo line is a much smaller scale of dolls. Now they are about 1/6 in scale. They're made out of plastic, but they do have soft vinyl heads, or maybe it's like a mixture of vinyl and plastic. The eyes are painted on for the most part. Some of the newer versions of the Pure Nemos, they have a new body that came out, and some of the newest ones will have actual eye chips inside that you can change the eye colors if you want to. But don't quote me on that. I could be wrong on that part. Because I own like the older body ones. I don't have any of the newer ones. But I do believe that the website does state that they do have eye chips inside, so you can change them. Now they have their squishy heads, and that's going to be important to know as we get a little bit further, because I'm going to mention the reason why. They do have rooted on hair. So what that means is that the hair is actually sewn into the scalp, so you can't change it. Now some of the newer dolls, again, there's a new body out there. The newer dolls, you may be able to change the wig on that one, but definitely check the A-Zone website to find out. These are also highly customizable, where you can change, at the very least, the clothing and accessories. A-Zone International themselves have a huge selection of clothing and accessories, especially for the Pure Nemo scale. I think most of their clothing and accessories are for the Pure Nemo scale. They are branching out and making things on the other scales, but they have so many variety of stuff for this scale of dolls. Now, the reason why I said that the squishy silicone heads are something to be noted is that beware of the needles. So the reason why I say that is that I bought an Idolmaster girl, and she came with like one of those, she had a Lolita outfit, so she had one of those hairbands on the top, but the hairband was made out of cloth. It's not like a regular hairband where it's like a hard plastic that you can kind of like slide over the head. It was just a cloth one. And the way you kept it on the head was it came, the box had a bunch of needles, and you literally take the needle and stick it through the doll's head to keep the headdress in place on the head. So be wary. That's why the head is squishy, so you can fit those needles in, but also when you're handling the dolls, try not to squeeze the head. I mean, normally people don't squeeze the heads anyways, but if you just so happen to, you might stick yourself with a needle. If you had an accessory on the head of the doll though. I don't know if that thing still holds true for the newer version bodies. Like I said, they have a new body out now, which I haven't done much research on, so I do apologize on that. But you might want to look into that if Pure Nemo is the size for you. We'll talk about pricing later and when we get to the pricing guide, but a lot of people like these dolls because they're more on the cheaper side, and a lot of reasons why the people like these dolls is because they're smaller. They don't take up a lot of space. Like these dolls are really big, so they do take up a lot of space in your house or your room if you only have a room, you know. And most of these dolls are really small. They're around like 10 inches tall at most, but I think usually they're around 8. And why I say 10, it's probably because of the heels. If they're wearing heels, it gives them a little bit of height. So a lot of people like it for their small size. Now, some other anime collaborations other than Asuna and Mosh from Fate Grand Order, you have Kagura-sama is one of them. You do have Demon Slayer. You have Nezuko here. Another Asuna, just because I'm biased. I love Asuna, so we're going to show another one. And they also have Ramen Rem, also in the Pure Nemo scale. There are many other dolls that are available for collaborations under Pure Nemo. You have Idolmaster girls, and I think you have like, what's that called? Hetalia, if anybody knows about Hetalia. They have a couple dolls in that. I forget the other shows, but there are definitely a lot more other than these. I think they're at maybe, I want to say like over 100 different characters right about now. Now another brand within A-Zone is known as the Asterix Collection. Now there's not many dolls under the Asterix Collection, and as far as I can tell, I believe most of the dolls that are available in this collection are boy dolls. So the examples I have for you is Persona 5, Slime, and Attack on Titan. These are the only dolls that I know of personally that exist in the Asterix line. There are other dolls, like they have OC, like original characters within the Asterix Collection line. I think it's from like, I want to say Assault Lily, but I'm not really sure. But they do have other characters, but the Asterix line, there really isn't too much available on that line. The more popular one for this scale is going to be the Pure Nemo scale. Now the next one that's on the list is going to be what they call the Active Hybrid. Now Active Hybrid, the newest one that was released was Marin from My Dress Up Darling. And the Active Hybrid is 1/6 to 1/3 scale dolls. Now, roughly what that translates to is about 1.5 feet tall to roughly about 2 feet tall. Just about. If you want exact measurements, I think it's like about 50 centimeters for A-Zone, because their scale is a little bit different. If you go with Volks, it's usually 60 centimeters for 1/3. But for A-Zone, their 1/3 scale is about 50 centimeters. So if you want like exact measurements. The smallest it goes down to, I think, is 46 centimeters in A-Zone's version, and that's what they kind of call like the 1/4 scale. Let's see. Jeanne d'Arc is another one that's available. If you go to the Akiba Zone, not Akiba Zone, the Akihabara A-Zone Labs, I think they call. In Akihabara, they have a Jeanne on display right at the front of the door that you could see there. Now these are made out of a soft vinyl material. So this is the first time that we're going to be talking about soft vinyl today, but most of the dolls that I'm going to be talking about from here on forth are soft vinyl, which would be these, all right? Now an important thing is that these also have painted on eyes for the active hybrid section. And the painted on eyes, they do give it more of that anime look, but you do have to be careful because the painted on eyes could wear over time. They do have like a gloss finish over it, but you do want to be careful with them as to not damage them because once it gets scratched, that's it. It's not like other dolls where if the eye got scratched, you can actually take it out and replace it. So you do have to be careful with these with the painted on eyes. They initially did start out with the same silicone heads, but I believe that the newer ones have a little bit harder vinyl for their heads now. So like Marin, for example, over there, I don't have her, but she may have the newer heads where they are a little bit harder, so you don't have to worry about that. The good thing with these is that the wigs are separate. So with this scale of dolls, you can actually change out the wigs. So if you didn't want Marin to have this wig, let's say she's cosplaying as Shizuka-chan, right? So you want to have like a dark purple wig for her, or I think it's dark black or dark purple, something of that nature. But you can actually buy a dark purple or black wig and change it so that you can have her in her cosplay. Again, a running theme with all of these is that they're highly customizable. So you can change the wigs and the clothing and the accessories for these dolls. Now, because these come in the 1/3 and 1/6 scale, A-Zone does offer within their brand a lot of different clothings. Things like, they have like really cool stuff. Like you can have gym uniforms, school outfits, business outfits, business suits. You can have kimonos. There's a lot of different things that are from A-Zone themselves. But if you don't want to go that route, you can always go to third-party people like Etsy, Mercari, a lot of different websites that feature like handmade stuff that's not from the official company. And a lot of them are really, really nice things. Now, one of the features that you're going to see on these larger scale dolls from A-Zone is that they're double jointed. What that means is that on the elbows and on the knees, they have a double joint. So instead of, how should I explain this like the right way? So if you have your arm extended like this, just straight, and you bend it one way, most of the doll's arms just kind of go like that far, and that's about it. So what the double joint does is that there's actually a small joint here and here on this side so that it can go all the way and extends out all the way like this. It is a little unsightly. Some people don't like it because then that makes the elbow cap or the kneecap pop out. And a lot of people don't like the visual aesthetic of it. But if they're wearing stuff like pants or like long sleeves, you don't see it anyways. So it's not really that much of a big deal. Another gripe that people have with these dolls is that you can actually see it on Marin. You can see her kneecaps right there. Another thing with these dolls is if you buy the older versions of them, the kneecaps and the elbow caps aren't exactly the same color as the rest of the doll. Like they're a little off color because they're made out of a harder vinyl rather than the soft vinyl. So it's really hard. But I hear that Marin, as you can see her there, that the color matching is a lot better than what it used to be. You could still see a little difference between the skin on the thigh and the shin between the actual kneecaps. There's a slight difference in color. So a lot of people have a little bit of a gripe with that, but I don't think it's that bad. Now, some other notable collaborations from the Active Hybrid series is you have Steins Gate, you have Magica. I had to think about that for a second there. You have Infinite Stratos, and you have Haruhi. Haruhi is actually an interesting one, as all the girls are available from A-Zone, just not the boy. Unfortunately, you just can't have him. If they did make him, that would be awesome. You would have the whole set. There's a couple other characters from Infinite Stratos as well. There are the whole cast for Madoka Magica also available, and in their alternate forms with the wings. But the alternate forms are very, very expensive, and we'll cover that when we get to pricing a little bit later on. Now, the next brand from A-Zone, like I said, they have a lot of lines, is one that's called Another Realistic Character. Now, this brand or this line from A-Zone also has a very small selection. It has been growing steadily in time, but they do have a smaller selection in this. And it's roughly the same. Everything is basically the same as the last brand, which was the Active Hybrid brand. Everything's the same. The only difference is the characters that are available on the Another Realistic line, and the difference is they actually have changeable eyes now in this line. So One example is HoloLive. You have Tokino Sora. You have Chino from Gochiyusa. And another example would be Utena, from if you like Revolutionary Girl Utena. This line, like I said, they come in 1/3 scale or 1/4 scale, and they're basically the same as the prior scale we talked about, except you can change the eyes on these models. Now the next line, there's so many. Next line from A-Zone. This one is called the Iris Collection line. Now the Iris Collection line is much bigger than the other ones, but not as big as Pure Nemo. There's a lot more characters in this line. But the important thing to note about the Iris Collection line is all of it is OC characters. They're all original characters. You won't find any anime collaborated, video game collaborated, nothing of that in this line. They're all original and unique to A-Zone. So they all have their own like little names and they have their own little side stories, but they don't have any like reference to any particular collaborated show or video game. But a lot of them are really super cute, as you can see in these pictures here. I do like Wolf Girl. She was recently released this last spring, and I think she's still available on the A-Zone net if you want to pick her up. She is the 50 centimeter style girl, and she does have a tail, for those that you were wondering. You can't see it on this picture, but she does have a really big, fluffy, like foxtail on the end. Or so, like, I think hers, is the foxtail, and her twin sister, or somewhat twin sister, is the wolf, and has like the wolf tail. But there's two of them, and they have the only difference between the two of them is that they have different eye color and different color for their ears and their tail. And the maid outfits they wear, one is dark gray, and I think the other one is whitish. I think I could be wrong on that. And then the other girls that you can see there, those are more of the 1/4 scale, and you'll see them coming in at the 48 centimeter length. So it's very slightly shorter, but they are still shorter. Now, that's it for the A-Zone line. There was a lot to talk about in the A-Zone line, but the next two doll companies we're going to talk about are the heavy hitters. These are the ones that pretty much dominate the scene right now, I want to say, and have the most that are available to collectors, the first of which, we're going to talk about the OG, the original, Dolphy Dream from Volks. Now, they are the first ones to make the vinyl dolls, and then afterwards, all the other companies kind of came about. But they were the first ones to really do it. There were other companies that have made dolls with well, I shouldn't say Dolphy Dream. Dolphy Dream is a subsidiary of Volks. That is the parent company, and Volks has always made resin dolls for the longest time. And a lot of the other doll companies at that time were also making resin dolls. There were a few doll companies that tried to make plastic as a competitor, like A-Zone and Obitsu tried to do plastic, but Dolphy Dream, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the first ones to make the vinyl scale dolls. Now, like I said, they're made in Japan by Volks. And here's a lovely example of my Cheryl that I took a picture of. Another example is this one right here, Y'shtola from Final Fantasy XIV. She is a Dolphy Dream from Volks. Now, these will come in different scales. So you have the 1/3 and 1/4 scale, respectively at 60 centimeters and about 50 centimeters for those two scales. They have many different body types as well. You're going to have Dolphy Dream Sister, Dolphy Dream Dynamite, Mini Dolphy Dream, and Dolphy Dream Pretty. Essentially what that means, usually when I go over my Dolphy Dream 101 panel, I go over each specific scale. But just to give you an idea, like Dolphy Dream Mini is more, they kind of classify them as an age group. So Dolphy Dream Mini is more like elementary school size children, like really small dolls at about, like half the size of Y'shtola. Dolphy Dream Pretty is more like middle school. Then you have Dolphy Dream Sister, which is kind of like that high school kind of age. Then you have Dolphy Dream, which is around college level age. She is about a Dolphy Dream, if you want some kind of like perspective on like what they kind of look like. They're a little bit more mature. And then you have Dolphy Dream Dynamite, which is, I would say, college into like older years. But when I say older years, I don't mean like an older individual. I just mean somebody that's more, how do I say this like a PG way? Developed. The Dolphy Dream Dynamite is a lot more curvy. Let's say they have a much more exaggerated hourglass shape of a body. So you'll definitely see a lot more curvy dolls in the Dolphy Dream Dynamite line. And I'll show you some examples of pictures here as we go along. Now, another example, oh, here, I forgot I put this in. This is great. You could see the different scales here of the mini Dolphy Dream. So you'll see it from your left to your right, going from smallest to largest, Dolphy Dream Dynamite being at the end. This is an older picture, so the only one that you guys can't see on there is Dolphy Dream Pretty. And Dolphy Dream Pretty would be in between the mini, which is the smallest one, and the one next to it. So that size would kind of be like right in between those two. Now they do come in different skin tones. They used to call it normal skin, then white, semi-white, then tan. They have since changed the name from normal to flesh, I guess because in today's world, in today's society, if you're gonna label something normal, what does that make everybody else's skin tone? Abnormal? So, you know, with today's world, the way that we like to identify ourselves and be different and everybody recognized for who they are, they changed the naming on that to at least flesh skin tone colored. They still kept white and semi-white and tan. The white though, they don't really have anymore. They kind of phase those out. If you were to ever find a doll in the white skin tone color, that's pretty rare. Even if you go to the store in Japan, when I was there, I couldn't find any. So I mean, they pretty much phased out the white skin tone color. So the most that you're ever gonna see is normal, tan, and semi-white. Now these also do have a lot of anime collaborations, which we'll go into. But first off, let's talk about the insides of these dolls, right? Like I said, they have an internal skeleton frame. So just to give you an example, this is what it looks like, at least for the Dolphy Dreams. This is the brand new DDF3 scale frame that is in most of the dolls right now. They currently just announced a new 2.0 DDF3, but that is currently going to be released for the new mini Dolphy Dream body. They haven't announced the 2.0 for the larger scale dolls yet, so right now I think most of the dolls are going to come in the regular DDF3 or DDF cubed. It doesn't matter how you say it. Either way, that's what it is. And as you can see from the picture here, there you can see all the different points. So all those stars that you see on there are different points of interest. So some of them reflect where a joint is, and some of them will reflect where a screw is. And the reason why that's important is that you can actually tighten the screws. So over time, when you move these joints over and over and over, they start to get loose. And the older bodies, when they got loose, that's it. They just hang down. Like they can't hold their pose anymore. So the newer bodies, you can actually take off the outer shell and you can tighten the screws so that they can hold their pose just like they did when you first bought the doll. So that is one of the unique selling points for the new DDF3 body scale. And as you can see, you know, the spine itself has ball joints so that you can move them, you know, have nice good ab crunch and things like that. Now let's talk about some anime collaborations. Now they have a lot. I think currently with the latest release of Arcoid from Tsukihime, I think they're now at 140 dolls for this line. So I can't go over all 140 of them, okay? So we're gonna go over some notable ones in the different scales. So first up, I like to put this one because it's my favorite. We have Cheryl. Cheryl's on the Dolphy Dream body. You also have Megumin from Konosuba on the Dolphy Dream sister body. You'll have Ilya from Fate. She is on the mini Dolphy Dream body. And something that was recently released about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years now. Wow, it's really weird to think about it's almost 2 years now, but we have 2B from Nier Automata on the Dolphy Dream Dynamite body. Now, some other notable collaborations, you have Hatsune Miku on Dolphy Dream. Hatsune Miku actually comes in many different varieties. One thing that I should mention is that Volks, usually when they create a character, they make that one character and that's it, they move on. But there are certain characters that Volks just really love and they get many versions. And Hatsune Miku is one of them. She'll have her normal version, she'll have her cherry blossom version, and she has her winter version. Which I think is called like Snowflake or something like that. But they had different versions for her. I think it's 3 of them. Some other dolls that have a lot of versions is Saber from Fate's Stay Night. Saber has, I think, 6 versions of her. Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis has 3 versions. I think Rin Tosaka from Fate Stay Night has 2 versions. As you can tell, they like Fate Stay Night a lot in that company. So you'll see a couple of their characters. As the next one, the Dolphy Dream sister, Scotty from Fate Go. Recently released this past year, Yor from Spy Family on the Dolphy Dream Dynamite body. And of course, Y'shtola on the Dolphy Dream body. And she is right here for you all to see. The interesting part about Yor Forger is that we recently just got announced that Anya is going to be released. We don't have any details whatsoever other than that she's going to be released, and that she's going to be released on the mini Dolphy Dream body, which is going to, I'm assuming, is going to be the release of the new 2.0 DDF3 skeleton. I'm assuming she's going to be the first one on the new skeleton. So hopefully we'll get more information as time goes by, but the only thing we know right now is that she is going to get a release. My guesstimate, my best guesstimate is probably December. And I do not know if she's going to be a pre-order or if she's going to be a click war, which we'll get into when we talk about buying. But that's a whole nother topic. Now, if you noticed, most of the time I've been talking about girls, like a lot of girl dolls. We touched a little bit on boys in A-Zone, but this hobby does have a lot of female characters. But for the lucky few, Dolphy Dream do make boys. They do have boy characters. Unfortunately, there's only 3. So out of the 140 dolls, 3 of them are boys. They recently added 1 more to make it 4. So yay for 4. So you have Vocaloid. I always get it mixed up. I don't know if it's Ren or Len or whatever. Len, yeah, so there's 2 of them. There's, I think, Rin and Len. That's Len. Kirito from Sword Art Online. Asuna has 2 versions, just so you know. And 9S from Nier Automata. So at least 2B has her partner with her. And then the last one, recently released, Kaito. So Kaito is recently released. Some people have already gotten him as his shipping date is now. So a couple people already got their Kaitos, and other people are still waiting for him to come in the mail. But yeah, that's pretty much it, representation boy-wise for Dolphy Dream. Now you can go to Volks in Japan and custom build your own doll there. It's called Dream Choice. And there you can make your own custom boy there as well if you wanted another boy character. Now the last brand we're gonna talk about today, Smart Doll. Smart Doll is the new kid in the block. They only started in about 2013, I wanna say, 2014. So they're new to the doll scene. But regardless of the fact that they're new, they've actually been the most popular brand as of late. So the 2 dolls that you see here, these 2 are Smart Dolls. The community for the Smart Doll community is huge right now. It is growing by leaps and bounds. I don't think anybody expected to grow so big, but it did. And it's really popular right now. Most of the time when I travel to a lot of different conventions around the Eastern Seaboard, I'll usually bring my dolls around. People usually ask me, they're like, oh, that's cool, did you make that? Or where did you buy that? Nowadays, when I walk around with dolls, the most question I get is that a Smart Doll? So Smart Doll has grown so much in popularity that whenever somebody sees a doll, most of the time people automatically assume it's a Smart Doll now. So Smart Doll is made by an individual named Danny Chu, and his company is called Culture Japan. All their dolls are 1/3 in scale currently, and this is a picture of the 2 original dolls, Mirai and Kizuna. Those were the first 2 dolls that were released by Smart Doll. I don't bring them out to conventions anymore. They're kind of retired from the convention scene because they came out with me too much. But so the only ones you see now is my lovely Chitose over here, who comes with me everywhere. She's my partner in crime. And the newly released is Courage over here. Now they do come in different skin tones, which I should have updated this list, but you have cinnamon, tea, cocoa, and you have blue. And then blue was a fantasy color that has been since phased out and now has been replaced by gray. So that is the newest skin tone color that is out now. Blue was a limited edition, so you won't really find blue being released anymore from Smart Doll, but you might be lucky enough to find it secondhand, as sometimes people do sell their dolls on the secondhand market. The difference in skin tone, though, between the cinnamon and tea is slightly lighter. The cinnamon is what you see in the picture there. The tea is what you see with Chitose here on the table. Cocoa is a much darker skin tone, which we'll go over when we get onto the next slide so you can see the differences. Now, also in Smart Doll, they do have anime collaborations, but unfortunately, that is going to be coming to an end. I'll talk about it in a sec when we get to the collaboration screen. Now, these also have an internal frame inside. Now, initially, the 1.0 body frame was this. So it has a fully ball-jointed spine on the inside for much more flexibility than Volks has in their dolls at the time being, and has since been upgraded. But what that does is you could do poses like this. So you can have the dolls on their belly and actually perch up so that it faces the camera. You could not do that with the older version bodies of Dolphy Dream. You can do it now with the new DDF3 bodies. But before, when Smart Doll was initially released in 2014, Dolphy Dream didn't have the DDF3. So they couldn't have the range of movement as Smart Doll did, which is one of the selling points that a lot of people got into Smart Doll, is that extra added movement in the dolls. It was also because of the vinyl was made out of a much harder vinyl, so it didn't ruin the doll or stain the doll. That is a big issue with coming up with maintenance for these dolls, is you can actually stain them. So if they're wearing stuff like this, like black, the black will get absorbed into the skin, and it's going to be really hard to remove it, if not impossible at some points. But if you catch it early, you can easily remove it if you catch it early. But if it's been sitting there for a while, forget it. It's going to be really hard to get that off. You might as well buy a new body at that point. Now, they have since changed it. Just recently, they changed it to what is called the Evolve frame. Now, you can see over here, on your left-hand side is the original frame, and you see the many different iterations, and all the way at the end on the right-hand side is the brand new Evolve frame. Evolve frame is much more flexible. It has more screws in it so that you can adjust the stiffness. If you wanted to adjust, same feature that you have with the Dolphy Dreams now, you now have with the Smart Doll system. And the flexibility has been improved, where before you couldn't get the dolls to sit down like straight at a 90-degree angle. They actually kind of like went back a little bit, and that was a limitation of the dolls. Now they can actually sit at a 90-degree angle. They also had like issues of bending their knees. They couldn't bend them more than 90 degrees. It's still kind of the same, but they have a slightly more let. So you can't go full on all the way crunch, but you can definitely crunch it a lot further than you used to be able to. Courage over here is on the new body system, and Chitose is on the older body skeleton over here. The new system also has clicks. So like they have what they call the haptic feedback system on the new skeletons, whereas when you move the joints, you can actually feel it and hear it. It'll go click, 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 click. So they hold their poses much better than they used to. There's a little bit of a debate within the community whether or not they like the sound of that. Some people are kind of annoyed by the click noises. Most people don't mind though. So I think it's more of like a minority more than half, but there are some people out there that do not like the sound or the clicks. Now, moving on to the next, I want to talk about the skin tone colors. So we do have cinnamon, tea, cocoa, and this was the blue that was released earlier. Again, the blue is a fantasy color that has since died out or ran its course, and now you have, galactic gray. I couldn't fit it, so I called it gal gray. But you do have the new galactic gray, and as you can see, the difference in the skin tone colors, very unique, very cool, and much so in line with the motto of the company of diversity and inclusiveness. So one of the things that I don't know if I put it on these slides here, if I do, we'll just go over it again. But one of these things that I want to include about Smart Doll that makes them unique from other companies is not only the fact do they have the cocoa skin tone, which no other doll company has. There are some that come in resin in the cocoa skin, but I think when it comes to vinyl, I have not seen another vinyl doll in that skin tone as of yet. I could be wrong. I'm not the all and end all place for information, but I believe that cocoa is still the only one available in Smart Doll. But the thing I wanted to say is that Smart Doll likes its diversity and its inclusivity, so they do have unique products, such as Courage over here that has vitiligo on her skin. So you could definitely see it in the picture here. She does have vitiligo on her face and on her arm and on her chest, as you can see over here on the doll here. She does have the vitiligo there. There are also other things like amputees. So Smart Doll does have optional parts that you could buy for an amputee arm. They do have prosthetic legs for individuals that have prosthesis. They do have things like a colostomy bag. They have hearing aids that are available for your dolls. And right now, I should have put a picture on here, I forgot to, but right now, Danny Chu is in the mix of working on what is called the pear-shaped body. So the pear-shaped body is basically a plus-size doll, or a plus-size individual. And I really should have put a picture. I feel so bad I didn't put a picture now for you guys. But they do have a pear-shaped body that is in the works that they're currently working on for individuals to self-identify for that type of body shape. Because as of right now, most of the body styles or body shapes for the dolls are more so like supermodel-ish. They have long legs, they have very exaggerated curvy bodies. You know, not many people can identify with their dolls because not many people look this like athletically fit or supermodel fit. So Smart Doll is now making a plus size doll for individuals to have dolls that they can identify with. And those plus size dolls will be available in all 3 skin tones and the galactic gray for a short limited time, as that is a limited color. But they will be releasing in all 3 skin tones as well. Now we do have boys, but there is currently only 2, and they don't really sell them anymore, sort of. So what happened was, a lot of people like having boy dolls and the option to buy boy dolls, but when they were released, not many people really bought them. So these 2 were the only ones that had official releases. There were anime collaborated releases. There was also other small releases that he kind of like dropped here and there of, I think he called one Adam or something like that. But they are very few and far between. Right now, you won't find the boy dolls available on the website at all. They haven't been available for sale for a number of years already. He does keep saying that since there is demand for them, that eventually he's going to release it on a very limited basis again, but that has not come as of yet, and it's been a couple of years since then. So we don't know if they're gonna make a comeback or not, but there are those in the community that are asking at least for a limited drop of boys again. There are some of them that are still out there. He has leftover bodies that he has of the boys that he's been selling in what he calls like the chaos scene. So what that is if you follow him on his Twitter handle, he'll announce randomly on random days and at random times, and this is another controversy in the community, which I talk about on my YouTube channel a lot, but he'll release it at random days and random times without warning, and you could maybe buy a limited edition doll, or maybe a boy doll, or maybe some prototype like clothing or things of that nature during these limited drops. So some people complain that because there is no notice, that they missed out, and they get mad that they missed out because they didn't know it was gonna drop. But in a way, that makes it fair for everybody, because since nobody knows when it's gonna drop, nobody has a heads up. So they can't you can't have people like scouring the website and scalping them, like buying them all up and selling them for expensive prices. You still get that in a way, but those people are like, I don't know, have no lives or something. They're like stalking the website 24/7, all hours of the day to like catch these drops. But that's his attempt to make it somewhat fair so that everyone has an equal shot, is by making it totally random of when he's gonna drop these things. Now, anime collaborations. He has a few. You have this one here, which is the Tank anime, which for the longest time I used to know the name, now I forgot the name. Does anybody remember? Girls in Panzer, exactly. So, Girls in Panzer, I forgot the name. You have Miho Nishizumi, and then the other girl with the black hair, I forgot her name, was also released. I think it's Yukari, the short black hair. So Yukari was released. You have Gurai from Frame Arms Girls, and you have Lelouch. There was Lelouch, and there was also Suzaku, and C2 is going to be released this year. We just don't know when, but probably later this year. But he's been saying it's going to be released every single year for about like 3 years now, and she hasn't come out yet. But we're pretty sure that she's gonna come out this year. So the wait may come to the end for those that have been waiting for quite some time. Some other notable collaborations: Nami from One Piece, Spike from Cowboy Bebop, and more recently, Supergirl and Batgirl has been released from DC Comics, from Smart Doll. Now, the reason why this is a contention is that recently Danny Chu has been releasing photos of other collaborations that he wants to do or has been prototyping to do. And one of the prototypes, unfortunately, was, I'm not gonna out anybody. So I'll just say it was an anime property, okay? And that anime property was cosplay, well, okay, let's put it this way. It was a Coco skin doll. So the darker skin tone doll was cosplaying an anime company, which I will not name, and that anime company has reached out to Smart Doll and said, please don't put our doll in, our IP on a Coco doll. And Danny Chu, obviously, and the rest of us found that very offensive. And because of that, Danny Chu has now said he will no longer do anime collaborations because of that. But the way he phrased it kind of made it sound like it was up in the air, that maybe a collaboration might come later down the line. But for the now, it's done. So any other collaborations is more than likely not going to happen. The only one that will happen is C2, because that's already been in the works, and they have already made like a couple of stuff for her. So that's definitely going to happen. But after her, no more anime collaborations. Now, another thing is Smart Doll Plus. Now, not to get confused with the new one, which is the pear-shaped body. This is the older one, which was 1/2 scale. So to give you an idea, that's Danny Chu right there. That's the original dolls, which are these right here. And then that is the plus scale doll, sitting at about 3 feet tall. This was something that was an April Fool's joke. He wasn't going to make it. He actually made it into fruition. A couple people have bought it already, and then it has stopped. He has stopped making them. And then like he stopped it in like, I want to say 2018. And then recently this year, this past like December, like in 2022, he's been posting new pictures of plus size, of these Smart Doll Pluses. And he's been hinting that he might start making them again. So if you are interested in getting a Smart Doll Plus or these really big dolls, there may be a chance that they're going to get released again. This is another picture. This was Anime NYC. That's me with Danny Chu, and you could see the size of the doll. Like, look at me. I'm not a tall person, so you could see how big that doll is compared to me holding it. It's very large and quite heavy, actually. But maybe the new ones won't be that heavy. Who knows? Next up, let's talk about where to buy. So these are how you're going to buy these dolls. This is where I usually lose half the room and everybody leaves. So let's talk Blythe. Blythe, you can mostly buy them at Judy Moon Shop. There are a lot of different places to buy Blythe, but this is probably one of the more highly recommended websites to go to. Then you have Pull-Ups. You can go to PullUpNet, JP Groove, or you can go to Pull-Up World. Now, you can also go to the notorious places known as eBay and Amazon, but the prices are way overpriced. You're going to be paying maybe double, almost triple the price on eBay or Amazon. But sometimes that may be the only place you could buy them, because it could be one of the older dolls that you just can't get anymore. And just unfortunately, there are scalpers out there. And if you're willing to pay the price, then the doll might be there for you. But it's really expensive on eBay or Amazon. Do be warned. Now, next up, you have A-Zone International, which you can buy from A-Zone straight themselves. Just go to azone.net. Or you can just go to AmiAmi. For those of you that are familiar with buying Good Smile or figures and stuff like that, you could just get them from AmiAmi. Next up is Volks International. You can go to volks.co.jp, EN store. I don't know why theirs is very specific, but that's the website. There's also Volks USA, but they have since changed, let me take that back. They have since changed their website from Volks USA to volksuasastore.com. So a slight change in that because they revamped their website. I actually don't like the new website they did for Volks USA. It's not really easily like searchable for things, but it is there. Now for Smart Doll, just go to Smart Doll. You can go in other places, but you're gonna get ripped off. Like I've seen them on the usual suspects of eBay and Amazon, but they're really, really expensive. You can even try Mercari, but most of the time they're expensive there. Now again, if it's an older limited edition doll, that might be the only place that you could go to buy them. But I have some saving news for some of you. You can go to what is called Mandarake. Mandarake is a secondhand store located only in Japan, but they ship internationally and you don't have to use a third-party service. You can buy directly for them, which is amazing. And they have a lot of limited and rare doll stuff there as well. Definitely check them out. Now next up, here we go. Okay, how much they cost? All right, bear with me, people. Bear with me. All right, we got new, pre-order, and out of production. Let's start with the three first. Blythes. Brand new is $120 to $250. That depends on whether it's an original character or an anime collaboration. Most of the collaborations are going to be around the $200, $250 mark. Pre-order is cheaper though. If you pre-order them, you will get them at a cheaper price. And then out of production, you can get them for maybe $120 to about $1,000. I've seen them go for like the really older ones that are limited. Same thing with pull-ups, about $100 to $160. Pre-order, same thing, $120. Out of production, about $100 to $2,000 for limited edition pull-ups. A-Zone. A-Zone, you got 120 to 500. The reason why I say 120 to 500 is the smaller ones are 120. The larger ones at the 50 centimeter scale are going to be around $500. Now remember, these pricings are subject to change based upon the strength of the conversion rate between the yen and the US dollar. So it could be higher, could be lower. It really depends when you purchase your dolls during the conversion rate. Now, pre-orders can be 100 to 450, so slightly cheaper if you were to get them after they released. 150 to about $3,500. The one I saw for $3,500 was Madoka Magica with the wings. So that came out a long time ago. It's really super hard to find her. I don't even think you can find her on sale anymore because I did a search recently and I couldn't find her. So that one's probably gone. Somebody bought it, $3,500. So next up, Volks, new, $400 to $1,000. Pre-order, same price, $400 to $1,000. No discount for pre-ordering. Out of production, $850 to crazy. So $400 is for original characters. Those are not anime collaborated. The anime collaboration characters can go from $600 to $1,000. Yishitola over here was about $850. The $1,000 mark is individuals that have a lot of armor. So for example, Jeanne d'Arc or Saber that has a full armor set, a gigantic sword and flagpole, she was $1,000 because of all those extra accessories. Crazy, I've seen Saber Lily go for about $5,000 for Saber Lily. You can even get a Saber Lily missing parts and damage, missing an arm for maybe about $2,000 I've seen it for. A lot of these out of production ones are just crazily priced. I think Yor right now on the aftermarket is probably around $1,000 to $1,200 right now for Yor. She's really expensive though, but not one of the most expensive ones. Smart Doll, buy it from Smart Doll. Could be $400, could be $1,200. The reason why I say $1,200 is that the newly released collaborations from DC Comics, Supergirl and Batgirl were about $1,200. Pre-order, no longer, too many clicks. Pre-order, no longer available. At the very beginning, he used to do pre-orders. Now it's no longer. Now the only way you buy Smart Dolls is by that system notification. You gotta go on Twitter, subscribe to him at Smart Doll Land on Twitter, and then he will post on there when he releases stuff, either the day of or the day before. But he won't tell you what it is. He'll just usually post, I'm going to release something later today, or I'm going to release something tomorrow. And that's the only notification you're really gonna get. It's the only way he does it for his releases. He has something that he calls front line. Now those are going to be girls that should be available all the time, and if they sell out, they will come back. But those are all usually like original characters like Mirai or Courage over there, but none of the fantasy colors will be a part of the front line products. And then lastly, some social media. There are doll communities around. You can go to Doll Dreaming, which is a forum. You could go to Den of Angels, or more popularly, Facebook groups. There are a lot of Facebook groups out there where you can meet the doll community, and the most popular one nowadays is Discord. So a lot of people are using Discord nowadays, so definitely check that out. For social media, you have Twitter, Instagram. I've seen very few of Snapchat, but it is there. TikTok is a big thing now too, with a lot of doll people. You'll see a lot of stuff on TikTok. You got Flickr, and you got YouTube, of course. I myself have a YouTube channel where I talk about these dolls every week. There are other content creators that do really cool stuff. Like I mostly do news. I do a lot of news. I do a lot of hot topic live discussions on stream. about the community and where the status of what's going on with this dolls. A lot of the other content creators do really cool stuff like custom face-ups, custom sewing, custom dioramas, a lot of other different things that are really, really cool. But definitely check out the YouTube pages. There's a lot of them there. I don't have a lot of them on a piece of paper that I can give out, unfortunately, but there's one named My Lady Disdain. You could check her out. There's Magical Kit Kat Girl. There's Kitten Kat Shop, that's also there. There's My Froggy. There's Lavely Day. There's the other one, which I can't pronounce because it's in Spanish. It's called Muñecas Pupas, I think it is, which is another one that has a lovely YouTube channel. There's Archangeli, which does some things every now and then. But there's many, many more of them. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Definitely check it out. There are a lot of us now, whereas when I started this hobby back in 2011, there was really only 2 people. So the hobby has grown by leaps and bounds where there is so much information out there and so many wonderful people doing great stuff. I would definitely highly recommend you search it. And you'll find it just by going to YouTube, type in Dolphy Dream, type in Smart Doll. You'll see a plethora of them come up, including my own stuff. That leaves us off for Q&A. So I can leave this for questions and answers, or I could show you some cool videos. What would you guys like to see?
I do have a question about this.
Yes.
I noticed that on the frame there are hands.
Yes.
Does that mean you close hands?
They have, so the hands are interchangeable. So most of them, they come with what they call the default hands, which all these girls here have, which is just kind of like the semi-open kind of looking hand. But you can buy separate hand parts that have thumbs up, peace signs, fists. You can have like straight hands, like the slapping hands. And there's gripping hands too, which are a little bit more closed so that they can hold accessories better. You can get those as well. Any other questions that we have? Good? Do you guys want to watch some cool videos? All right, so what I'll do is I'll show you guys, let me see, I'm going to end this slideshow. So I have some cool videos. I'm going to show you some Dolphy Dream videos. This is one. This is a commercial that aired in Japan for Dolphy Dream stuff, so let's check this out. It's going to be a little loud, so hold on. So that's one commercial that they had. Here's another one. Okay, then we have this last one I'm going to show you is a Smart Doll commercial. Oops, why did it do that? I show this every time, so if you've seen this already, I apologize, but it's my favorite commercial, and it's the only commercial that he ever did, and it's just really funny.
We're passionate about Japanese culture, which is made up of many Harare, Omotenashi, Wabi-sabi, Japanese schoolgirls, and robotics. Culture transmission is to share Japanese culture with the world, so we engineered all of these elements into a single product and created an interactive fashion doll called Smart. Created using the latest 3D technology and Japanese traditional casting methods, Smart Doll was created with a single vision in mind to enhance the lives of the human counterparts. Humans always use stuff. Smart Doll can help them locate items such as keys, wallets, and even the kitchen sink. Smart Doll has a built-in clock which utilizes the stars and neighboring nebula to calibrate the internal clock mechanism. Because of this, Smart Doll can tell the time with incredible accuracy at certain times during the day. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10 a.m. and PM. Humans are surrounded by gadgets and their cradles. Cradles are expensive and they only last until the next model, where the shape of the cradle changes again. Smart Doll solves this first world problem. Smart Doll can have any object, any gadget, of up to 700 grams and 20 cubic centimeters. You can have your Smart Doll for your headphones, your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your DualShock, your Super Famicom controller, or even a Land Cruiser or a Dual. Smart Doll is the first device of its kind to have eternal life battery. We eliminated the need to charge a battery by removing it from the design completely. Smart Doll was not only designed to be smart, but to look smart too. The level of detail in Smart Doll apparel is unrivaled for a fashion doll. Folks in education choose Smart Doll, and so do folks in commerce. Smart Doll is designed for folks all around the world, for all ages and all races. Naturally, Smart Doll comes in a variety of colors too. As the creator of Smart Doll, I hope they bring as much happiness as they have brought us, right here at Culture.
That's a really old commercial that he released back in 2014 when he started making them. So a lot of that stuff is like not really up to date anymore. I've been begging him to make a new commercial because they're just so damn funny. But he has yet since not made one. I really want him to make one. I've been asking him to make one, but yeah, he probably hates that I show that because it's so old and out of date, but it's just so funny. Like I just need to share it with people whenever I see them. But that's really it. That's the end of today's panel. Thank you everybody for coming. If you want to come up and take pictures of the dolls while I'm trying to like clean up and take them down, that'll be all. Also, we are having a doll meetup. So I've been posting it all over social media for people to hang out. It's going to be today here at the Hyatt Regency Hotel at 2 p.m. We are all going to meet right on the stairs. There's a second landing for the mezzanine. We're going to meet there. So if you want to see more dolls, hopefully we're going to have a couple people coming by and bringing more dolls. We're going to just chat and hang out. It's 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So definitely come by if you want to see more dolls or just talk about more doll stuff. Thank you everybody for coming. No, why?
Contest. Can I join?
If you want to, but what time is it?
1 o'clock.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, can I take a picture of your Shulta doll?
Yes, of course. Please. Definitely. Take a picture. Take all the pictures you want, as long as they're still up there. I have to eventually close down, though, for the next panel.
I really need like one of the Rose and Maiden dolphies.
I don't think Dolphy made a Rose and Maiden, though.
Folks, whatever. The Rose
ones.
Yeah.
Oh, the resin ones.
They are
Okay.
really expensive also.
Yeah, have you seen the Volks Shinku?
The Volks, which one?
Shinku?
Shinku? No, I have not actually.
Original. That's really cool.
Okay, guys that are watching the live stream, I'm basically going to be cleaning up. So bear with me while I clean up because there's a lot of cleanup work that I have to do. And then I will get back to you and read chat and see what's going on. What's up? I do not know yet. Okay, let me finish cleaning up first. Okay. All right. There's a lot of cleaning up that has to go on behind the scenes, chat. And I hope you enjoyed it, though. I never really show my panels because, I like to keep them only for conventions. But since I'm retiring this panel, I've been doing this same panel for 6 years. I think it's about time that I, stop it. Hello. Probably, yeah. If you can help me.
I think this is the third time that I've followed you after a panel.
Oh, really? Awesome.
You always have the dolls out.
I always try to bring them with me wherever I go.
I definitely followed you during the con. I definitely followed you after. You've done Colossal Con East, right?
Yes, I was at Colossal Con. I definitely had the panel at Colossal Con. I was at Otakon, Anime Boston, AnimeNext, Liberty City Anime, Castle Point. I've done a lot of them. I'm trying to branch out and go to other cons I've never been to before as well. So this way I don't have like too many repeat audience stuff because people will get bored if I do the same thing over and over,
That's why I just change up everything I present at the. That way I can continue to do the same like 6 cons. I'll branch out and do others. But
Thank you for coming. Hey, can you help me bring down the other two? Help me bring them down. Okay. Hello, Chad. I'll be back with you.
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna move you guys. I want to get out of the way. I want to get out of the way of people. So you guys want to watch me clean up? I'm cleaning up. Okay. We gotta do this real quick, chat, because the next panel person is going to be coming, and we gotta make sure that we do our takedown. So the takedown process after a panel is quite excruciating because you have to go quick enough so that the next panelist will have time to do their panel. So let's see. We're gonna try and get your Stola in the bag as quickly as we can put her. Okay, there we go. Take her out and put her inside like so. I'm sorry, chat. I will be with you once I finish packing up. This is always the most stressful part of doing panels at a convention is takedown. Now, I guess I could make things easier for myself by just bringing one doll, but I always find it a lot better by bringing like a couple dolls to show as examples because it's always nice, and I always say that a doll is better experienced in person than in video or photographs. You just can't get that same essence in videos or photographs. So like, I usually try to bring as many dolls as I can humanly carry with me to cons so that people can get a good idea of like different kinds, different sizes, different like skin tones and things like that. So, but the takedown process, man, I'm trying to go as fast as I can. So let's see, we're clicking, we're putting them in, clicking. I gotta break down all the stands that they're on. I think this is probably gonna set a new record of how fast I've like cleaned up and packed up after a panel. All right, I got 2 dolls currently in the bag right now. Zipping up the bag, 2 dolls. I was supposed to do a giveaway, guys, but I didn't have enough time to do a giveaway. So I'm going to do the giveaway during the, what's it called? I'm going to do the giveaway during the doll meet for anyone that's attending the doll meetup. Lastly is Chitose. She's always the last to go in the bag because since she's my partner in crime, she gets to hang out the longest. You guys can see me, right? Like, look at the tirade of like packing that I need to do. And then we're gonna put Chitose. I love my Mirai carry bag. Thank you, Danny Chu, for making these, because these are my most prized possession for traveling. So Chitose goes in her little bag. Okay.
Along the wall at the very corner on your right.
Ha ha ha. And we are done, chat. Okay. I'm gonna have to grab you guys off the tripod so we can walk around, okay? Sorry, you guys are probably gonna get like a little sick because I need to get out of this panel room. Oh boy. Don't mind all the bouncing around. Hopefully the gimbal will keep it steady enough where you guys are not bouncing around too much. I'm getting a low battery warning. Oh no, my battery's dying. Chat, the battery's dying. Okay, here we go. There we go. What's up? What's going on? Okay, we gotta get out of here. All right, here we go. Walking out. Walking out. No. All right, here we go. Gotta get outside. All right. Whew, that was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Those of you that watch live stream, those of you that are watching on the VODs later, I hope you enjoyed it. I did have a lot of fun doing this. Go, get outside. This is where I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna go put this down here. Okay. Whew. All right, so this is where I'm gonna end the stream for you guys today. Around roughly 4 p.m. today, I am going to go to the actual convention center and I'm gonna walk around the convention center and show you guys everything that's gonna be available there, at least what I can film. So there may be some places where I'm not allowed to film, but we'll see when we get to that point. I don't know if I'm gonna live stream the doll meet because it's just too much setup and takedown, and it's only gonna be an hour long, so I'll just take pictures and I'll post them on Instagram so you guys can watch that. But was there any chat that I missed that I wanna answer anything? Let's see. Marie Velez, thank you for coming to the stream. Yoshi Plays, what up? Good morning. I'm sorry, I can't read chat when I was up on stage doing the panels, but I think that's all the messages that I got. Okay, so thank you guys for coming. I'm gonna go eat lunch right now because I'm super hungry. And then the doll meetup will be at 2. And again, I'm gonna drive to the convention center. So around 4 p.m. Eastern time, somewhere around that time, maybe even 4:30, I'll walk around the convention center and show you guys what's there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, I hope you enjoy this and I will see you guys in a couple hours. Peace.